Hello, everyone, and welcome to our August monthly council message. And as you will notice, I am in a different location this month. I'm actually in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. That's right on the border of Canada. I'm at a beautiful Hewiden Casino and Resorts. And it's just like a beautiful place to stay and a wonderful environment. I mean, to even do this message from. So I'm excited to kind of see what the council is going to bring through this month. I've already pulled in the astrology and the angel numbers, so we're going to start there before we even get into the cards. But there's a big month. We know we've got the Lionsgate portal starting out our month, but there's also some eclipse energy that we're going to be talking about too. So there's a lot happening. And so that's where we're going to start before we even get moving too far into this. So let me just share what I have prepared. Okay. So as you can see, we've got a lot going on right now. So as I sat with the energy of this month, one message kept repeating itself over and over. The heart awakens, the illusion falls, and the soul now chooses. August isn't asking us to become someone new. It's asking us to stop hiding who we've been becoming all along. This month unfolds almost like a three-act story. Act one is alignment. The month begins with Chiron going in retrograde, inviting us to go inward. Chiron often is called the wounded healer, but I think that's only part of the story. Healing isn't about fixing yourself, it's about remembering yourself. So many of us have spent years believing that we were broken because life hurt us. Chiron reminds us that the wound may shape us, but it doesn't define us. Sometimes the very place we were hurt becomes the place that we're called to help heal others. Then on August 6th, Venus enters Libra. This shifts our attention towards balance, relationships, beauty, harmony, and self worth. Not just romantic relationships, but our relationship with ourselves. Where have we been settling? Where have we been overgiving? Where have we been abandoning ourselves in order to maintain peace? Venus and Libra ask us to create relationships that feel reciprocal, authentic, and aligned with our values. Then we move into one of the most talked about energetic events of the year, the Lionsgate portal on August 8th. Whether you connect Lionsgate as an astrological event, a spiritual portal, or simply a collective moment of heightened intention, I think the symbolism matters. Leo represents the heart, leadership, creativity, authentic self-expression. This is less about manifestation through force and more about remembering the light that you've been carrying all along. It's a heart activation. Act two, Destiny opens. On August 12th, we have the solar eclipse in Leo. Eclipses have a way of accelerating timelines. They close doors we may have been afraid to close ourselves, while simultaneously opening new ones we couldn't yet see. Leo asks us, where have you been hiding your gifts? Where have you been waiting for permission? Where have you been playing smaller than your soul intended? This eclipse feels like an invitation to stop performing and start embodying who you really are. Not louder, not bigger, just more authentic. Act three is the integration. As we move into Virgo season on August 22nd, the question shifts. It's no longer just about inspiration, it's about embodiment. Virgo asks us, how do you live this truth every single day? How do your routines, your work, your choices, and your habits reflect the person you're becoming? Spiritual awakening isn't just something we experience during meditation, and it's not really just a one-time experience. It's something we live while answering emails, making dinner, raising children, building businesses, and showing up for the people that we love. Then on August 28th, we reach the lunar eclipse in Pisces. For me, this feels like the emotional release point of the month. Pisces reminds us that surrender isn't giving up, it's letting go of what we've outgrown, the identities, the fears, the stories, the attachments, sometimes even the dreams that we thought we wanted. Not because they were wrong, but because our soul has grown beyond them. When I look at the Virgo and Pisces together, I don't see opposites. I see sacred partnership. Virgo says, build the life. Pisces says, trust the soul. One grounds the vision and the other inspires it. Throughout all of this, Saturn continues its retrograde, quietly asking us to build foundations that can actually support the life that we're creating. Not the life everyone expects of us, the life our soul is asking us to live. Saturn isn't punishment, it's commitment, it's integrity, it's becoming someone your future self can depend on. So now let's talk about the angel numbers that keep showing up around this message as well. We have 313. For me, this feels like creation after transformation. The old version of you has done everything it came here to do. So honor it and thank it, and then allow yourself to build again from a deeper truth. 111. We often think of this as manifestation, but this month I hear something a little different. Alignment before manifestation. Your thoughts matter. Your focus matters. What you're feeding with your attention begins to grow. So be intentional. 717. This one feels incredibly important. Trust your inner knowing. Not the loudest voice online, certainly not fear. Not external validation. Your soul already knows the next step. The invitation is to simply trust it. So, if I could summarize August into one question before we ever pull a single card, it would be this. Are you willing to let your outer life finally match who your soul has been trying to become? Because I think that's what this month is really about. Not becoming someone else, but becoming impossible to hide. Now, with that energetic foundation in place, we're going to go ahead and open the records, invite in the council, and let's see how they want to guide us through the month ahead. So I've already got a spread planned out for this month, and let's see, let's take this off the screen. And let's get the spread up so I see what I'm doing here. Okay. So it's just a little bit. Okay. All right. So we've got several decks that we're going to be going through, and I've already pre-shuffled these decks. We're going to start with the Oracle of the Awakened Flame, which is my deck. So that is available now. You can find that information down in the description box below. I'll also try to leave a link in the comment section as well so that you can find it more easily. But the first question that we're going to ask with the Oracle of the Awakened Flame is, what is the Council's overarching message for the collective in August? So, what is the overarching message this month? We have Destiny Path, the life you chose before you forgot. 888, third eye, cosmic indigo, embodied light. And that 888 right there with that Lionsgate 88 portal, that's no coincidence. And, the Destiny Path, that's really what I've just been sitting here talking about, that the astrology is trying to align us with. And so the life you chose before you forgot, the life that you chose before life told you what you were supposed to be choosing. So this really puts you back into the chooser seat again. And I think that's something that we forget a lot of times, is that we have choice, and our power of choice is one of our strongest powers that we actually have. And it's one of our most underused powers as well. All right, so the next section, we're going to be using the wisdom of the oracle. And this is the heart's journey. So, what is awakening within us this month? We have go the distance. So it's the stamina. So we can see the finish line. We can see the vision. We know exactly what it is that we're trying to build, and we have the ambition, the direction, because this is all that Leo energy coming in full force. And it's like the confidence to be able to complete what we came here, but what we came here to do. What illusion or old pattern are we being asked to release? We have truth be told. And so we're letting go of our mask and we're living in our actual truth, the truth of our heart. And so Leo energy is very heart-centered energy. It's authentic energy. And this is really stepping into the truth of your soul, the truth of yourself, and really letting it be just unapologetically yourself, unapologetically you. That's kind of what I'm feeling. And, a long time ago, before I ever even got, into tarot, and really before my spiritual awakening, I had a vision for a book that was called Finally Unapologetically Me. I did not actually write that book. And I realize now why I wasn't able to write it then, because I didn't fully know who that was yet. I was still living in a version of myself that I thought that I was supposed to be. I was, this staunch Christian mother, stay at home. Um, I really didn't have much vision for myself. It was, more about the people around me and what I thought would make them proud and what, they needed. And now then, since that time, since even that vision of what that first little book was, and which, I mean, I think that was one of the starting places for me, was just like realizing that it's time for me to live in authenticity of who I am. But before you can do that, you've got to know who you are. And so I feel like that's kind of what this past season of our life has really been, is getting us clear about who that version of us actually is. And I mean, I really think that when we connect it back to the pandemic, the way that shifted, just the way that everyone lives life, we had to become, more, connected with ourselves through that time, because we weren't able to connect with others. And I think that that's helped a lot of us get really clear about the type of lives that we're wanting to live, the type of lives that fulfill us. And it got us out of ruts that we had been in for a long, long time, out of these generational ruts. It had gotten us out of that. And so I think that now then, so many of us know who we are so much more solidly that we can live in alignment with that now. But it's like when you finally choose to live in alignment with that truth, there's a release in this, because not everybody is going to support you in that, because like you built this whole identity that fit into a different type of world. And now then, when you live in your authentic expression of your identity, you may not fit in the same places, and that's completely normal. And so it's like that's where it was saying you can honor that part of you. You can honor what that was for you, while also realizing that it's, expired its time in your life. And so release it with love, gratitude for what it taught. Okay. What becomes possible if we surrender to this transformation? We have flexible. And so This is what I was kind of saying, the type of person I was before I went through all of this transformation of my own. I was pretty rigid in the way that I believed and the way that I thought I had to live. And I mean, just everything had to line up in a certain kind of way in order for me to feel like, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. And so now then it's like we've learned that there's not like one single right and one single wrong, especially if you've allowed yourself to, change through this process. You see like the world doesn't just completely fall apart because you shift in a different direction. And if you can shift in one direction, you can shift in another direction. And so like that's what the power of choice really is for me. It's like it's not just a one-time choice. It's you realizing that every day, every single moment, you have choice, and that choice is your power to create whatever type of life you want to live. Okay, so the next section, we're going to be using the Wild Reflections Tarot. Okay, and so this is the Council's guidance. All right, so where is the collective entering in August? We have the Three of Pentacles. So the Three of Pentacles is, and this connects me with that the Aquarius North Node shift. And so it's really finding your place in the collective, finding how your particular brand of being, fits in with everything around you. Because the Three of Pentacles is about really, okay, using your strengths and using their strengths and putting together this beautiful tapestry that could not exist if everybody was all like the same exact like carbon copies of each other. And so, I mean, that's what makes it beautiful is that we're not all the same. We all have different things that, like we have different places where our knowledge is like expertise in, and we have different ways of expressing ourselves that makes it a beautiful tapestry instead of just, like this just one solid blank, like we're all red or we're all blue or we're all like whatever. We don't have to be one or the other. We can be whatever, it is that fits into like the beautiful mosaic, that we're creating from this. Um, okay. What truth is trying to emerge? We have the Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups can often be rose-colored glasses, and it's like it's the way that you kind of look at things and you over-romanticize things. And I think that those rose-colored glasses are breaking. I think they've already broken, and we're seeing things much more clearly. So we're not over-romanticizing, versions of our lives or expectations of others, or just like we're seeing things much more clearly through, I mean, just the passion may lead us into one place, but we're being grounded enough not to misconstrue it, not to let us make it into something that it's not. Those rose-colored glasses is really what I'm feeling out of that. It's just like we're seeing much more clearly. We've taken those glasses off. Um, what is blocking this awakening? We have the Seven of Swords. And so the Seven of Swords it's the self-deception in this. It's not honoring like the truth of who you are. So that going back to that truth be told, where the mask are coming off, the visibility of who you actually are, what you actually believe, what you actually stand for is the thing that's becoming, the strongest focus right now. And so like the illusions are falling, but they're falling within yourself first. Okay, with the solar eclipse in Leo, what new beginning is opening through this? We have the Wheel of Fortune. And so eclipses really are faded energy. And so it's like, this is just timing. This is like everything has finally lined up so that this, because there was a time when it would not have been safe for you to be this fullest expression of yourself, because I mean you hadn't overcome certain like wounds from your past, and just the world itself wasn't ready for everyone to live in the full truth, that they each hold. But we are becoming much more accustomed to people just being who they are, and we don't have to agree with it, but we can appreciate that people are learning that about themselves and finding, their joy and comfort in just, no, let me just be me. And let's just see where that fits into things. Okay. How do we embody this transformation in our practical life? This connects us with the Virgo season. We have the Hierophant. So it's the Hierophant is about traditions and belief systems. And this is about no longer doing something just because it's the way it was always done. This is creating the new beliefs and like the new standards of the way that you're going to live. And I've been talking for a while about that we are creating a new version of home. Like we are redefining what home actually means. And so for generations, I mean, like you just had to follow what you were told. I think we are finally in a place where we don't have to be just what has always been. We get to be whatever it is that we decide. And I think that just as each of us, makes that decision for ourselves, it really does shape the whole collective and the way that we're all moving forward from that point. With the Pisces lunar eclipse, what must we surrender? We have the Empress. And so the Empress she is more about, she's not action, she's not doing, she's more in the um, preparation, she's in the, create, just the vision, the creating the vision. We have the vision. And so now then it's time to really move out of just being completely just waiting for it to happen and actually like bringing it into fruition. So there's no longer the waiting period of this. Now it's the time of actually let's anchor it in. Let's bring this vision into full manifestation now. The higher guidance, what does the council want us to remember at this time? We have the Nine of Wands. So don't forget what it took to get you here. That path was real and you learned a lot of lessons in it, but also don't let that path be what builds up walls that prevent you from believing that you can actually attain, this next level of growth for yourself. So it was meant to teach you something. It was meant to grow something in you, not harden your heart. But it's like, okay, you're using it with wisdom now. Like the past is real. Everything that got you to here was real, but the stories that you told yourself about what that meant for you are now shifting. You're seeing it as like it wasn't something that was disempowering for you. You see that you overcame all of these different things, that you stood up, that you were strong, you were courageous to be able to even make it through all of that. And so if that person could do all of that, what more can you do when you're at a healthy, healed state and an empowered state? Okay. The opportunity. What is the greatest blessing available to us this month? We have the Eight of Wands. So the Eight of Wands is like once you speak it, once you say it, things just really start moving forward. But like that's the first step of the manifestation. And that really like it makes me think about um like, okay, if you have that Christian base and the Bible base, of that's how creation was even began was through the word. And so it was through the speaking it into existence. And so like that's the first step of manifesting, your truth, of manifesting, this level of, the next level of, the collective is we've all got to actually speak it into existence. What is it that you want? Who is it that you are? Speaking it. And it's like that, once you finally claim that piece of your identity back, this is who I am. This is what I'm going to do. This is where I'm going. It starts shifting the trajectory of where you've been and where you're headed. And with the Eight of Wands, it moves very quickly. And I mean, we've got, with that 8-8 energy, the Lionsgate energy. I mean, that's the portal. And so it's like, as long as you're aligning with that and you're speaking it through that, it's like, that's the trajectory. That's where it's like, has the most power to do something. And so it's like, we're not holding back anymore with that Empress energy. We're not just waiting around for it to happen for us. Now then we know, like, this is what we're creating. Now speak it. And that's where it starts shifting it, moving it forward from here. Okay, the challenge that we may be facing, what energy should we consciously navigate through this? We have the Three of Wands. And so the Three of Wands, this is waiting energy, but it's also about your expectations. And so, like, if you're expecting someone else to do it for you, that's where you could be waiting a very long time. This is not waiting energy anymore. This is acting energy. This is like, it's stepping into it. It's the bold confidence. It's like, it's the owning, the anchoring of, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. The potential outcome, if we walk with this guidance, where are we headed next? And we have the Six of Swords. And so this is really moving into calmer waters. And what I love about this card is it talks about it's overcoming, moving on from the trauma of the past. So a lot of us, we've been through a lot of hard things. And with that Nine of Wands energy, I mean, that's like not even just one, it's a whole pattern of just like a hard season that you've been through. But now we tend to have the the tendency to use those pain stories to hold us back. We hold on to the identity of, well, I was the one that this thing happened to, instead of I was the. So the one thing about being at a different place, you don't have necessarily reliable internet. So hopefully this will pick up and not be too choppy here. But I was saying that, when we've been through a lot of hard things, we tend to have, the tendency to hold on to the identity of the person who went through all of that stuff. And I think what we're being asked now is to see that identity a little bit differently. We're not just someone who went through it, we're someone who overcame it. We're someone who really did survive it and grew from it. And so, like, if you've really done the healing work, you shouldn't still be in this, like, well, why did this happen to me? You should understand at this point, like, it happened to grow this. It happened to show you this. It happened to do this. And so it's like it's changing the story so that that changes your identity of yourself through it. Okay. The next section that we're looking at is the Money Manifestation Oracle. And so this is our money and abundance. So what abundance lesson is unfolding this month? We have advocate. You will find so much fulfillment in working for a cause that you truly believe in. And so, I mean, with advocate here, I feel like advocating for yourself is the first and foremost thing. And so again, like you're doing something here that's more in alignment with the truth of, like your new identity, who you've grown into, and you're advocating for that space. You're not letting anyone no longer identify you through the old versions of yourself that they knew. You have, like you have to reintroduce yourself to that space as well. What limiting belief around money, success, or receiving is ready to be released? And we have counselor. Your compassionate nature makes you a good listener. Your advice is sought after, and your perspective is a valuable commodity. And so the limiting belief is counselor. And I think what I'm seeing just in the words in this is that you have more value in yourself than what I think you've given yourself credit for. What I feel in this, like, especially like when you go to a counselor, it's like you're almost like putting your belief higher in someone else in understanding you than you did in yourself. And this is kind of restoring that piece back to you. You're seeing where your own value is coming from and that you have value to give to others as well. Um, how can we align with greater prosperity this month? We have love. Love is the greatest of successes on the path to prosperity. Who can fully experience abundance without it? And so that's when you get into alignment and the truth of yourself, like you're going to love yourself so much more because you know you're not living in, a lie about who it is you are, about what it is you're capable of, about what it is you actually want. See, that's where it comes back to speaking that out. And that's, what that gets you into alignment first. Because, like, you can do a whole lot. And I've said this recently, um, is when you are really living out into your purpose, like that's something you could do without money at all because it fulfills you in all of these different ways. And so you start seeing where your prosperity comes in is even more than just the financial value that something brings to you. Like you start seeing your resources differently. Like when you see, like, well, I get, this level of fulfillment from this. I get to do this from it. I get to express myself in this way. I get to, learn in this kind of, environment. I get to grow in this kind of space. I get to be around these kind of people. It changes your perspective of like what it even means to have to, like work. Work doesn't become work as much as it just becomes it's part of your lifestyle because it brings a level of fulfillment that just like I said, financial resources alone could not do. Okay. The next section is with the time traveler's oracle. And this is looking ahead. So what energy are we currently creating for our future? We have deliberation at the feet of Lao Shu, China. And what the first thing I saw is deliberate. We're living life deliberately. And so before we were doing again what we thought was expected of us. And now then it's like we're doing something on purpose. We're the ones that's making the choices. That's another thing I feel with that deliberation. It's like you've made the choice, you've made the decision. You're the one who gets to be the chooser in this version of where you're headed. What future timeline becomes available if we follow the council's guidance? We have leadership, ancient Egypt. And so that's we're leading the way. We're not waiting for someone to tell us what to do. We're not waiting for someone to give us permission. We're just doing it. And it's like that's where people like when people see like they know like they know where they're going. They know what they're doing. People will line up behind you. They will support you through that because they see the confidence that it comes from someone saying, "No, this is the direction I'm going. This is what I'm going to do. This is who I'm going to be." And it's just like they don't argue with that because they see you own, like you're holding that frequency so strongly within you that it's like it inspires them that even if they don't fully understand it, even if it's not a decision they would make for themselves, they can support you in it because they see like your own confidence and belief in yourself. And someone who believes in themselves is actually a very powerful person. And I think that's been something that's been lacking because we've been taught from a very young age that we can't trust ourselves, that it's almost narcissistic, to believe that you can accomplish, great things and that like, who do you think you are? Well, it's not who do you think you are anymore. It's who you know you are and what you know is possible for you, what you know you are capable of. And it's like it's a return of that confidence to yourself. Okay, so we're going to close this out with one final message from the council. So, what is the final blessing or message that the council wants to leave us with as we move through August? And we have soulmate, a bond of peace and purpose, 444, heart chakra, green, sacred contracts. And so, soulmate, a bond of peace and purpose. And I think it's like, 'cause I'm not feeling this as it's another person. I think that one, the partnerships that you do make, the alignments that you do make are meant to bring, peace and purpose. And I think it's a shift in the type of relationships that we're going to have, but it first starts with the relationship that you have to yourself. And so again, like I said, when you step into that full confidence of this is who I am, that's the thing that like sends out like these like it's almost like the lighthouse, the beacon that lets other people see, okay, that's where I align to too. So it's like when we live with all of the masks, when we were trying to live in the version of ourselves that we thought that we had to be in order for people to love us, in order for people to support us, we were getting into alignments with people who only liked the false versions of us. And so now that we are in more um, inner truth and embodying that inner truth and more authenticity, then the people who actually align with that can find you. And so it's like your connections will feel stronger, more stable, more solid, and more like peaceful. There will be greater peace because they're more authentic and true because you're being more authentic and true. People can actually interact with the real you instead of like you trying to like adjust yourself for them. And so you may lose connections in that, but the ones that you have will be much stronger, more solid, and bring you a lot more peace. So I mean, I like if I could just summarize the whole message, I mean, it really is just getting into alignment with the truth of yourself and actually owning it, speaking it, doing it. And again, that Empress energy, it's like, okay, you've already been envisioning this and you've been planning for it and you've been dreaming about it. Now it's the time to anchor it into reality. And so that's what I feel for August. And it's like if you use the energy correctly, it could really shift your whole trajectory of where you go from here and bringing it into just, I mean, just that feels like full embodiment to me. All right, so I'm going to close it out there before just the internet itself decides it's done, again. But hopefully you have found, some sort of confidence, in this about, okay, that thing that you've been wanting to do, the thing that you've been wanting to say, the person you've been wanting to fully be that and express that now. And because I think that was really what this message was about. All right. If you want to go deeper with a one-on-one session, I have that information down in the description box below, but you can find it at theawakengen.com. And again, if you want to get my deck, the Oracle of the Awakened Flame, that is available as well down in the description box. Other than that, I hope you guys just have a great rest of this month. I'm excited to see where this goes. Lionsgate always feels like very powerful energy. I always feel very strong, confident, and excited when we get through that Lionsgate portal. And so I hope that you're feeling that energy too. And I do want to say I've got on August 4th the next Tarot and Tea with Hope that I do. It's a free event. We talk about the collective energy that we've both been feeling, and then we pull cards for the viewers towards the end. And it's always a fun time of just connection and community and conversation. So I invite you to show up. I'll link that down in the description box as well. But that will take place at my YouTube channel. if I can, the Awakened Flame Network. All right. So thank you again, and I will see you next time. Bye.